Law School. Okay, y'all, let's get into it. Welcome to the free astrotheology course. This is our textbook, The Gospel and the Zodiac, The Secret Truth About JC, the Christ Figure. The author is Bill Darrell-El. The link to the free PDF is in the description area of this video, along with links to the books I've written on Ancient Ibaryath, which, if you want to understand what the Hebrew scriptures really say, if you want to understand the science and not the religion, not the doctrine, you absolutely must learn Ancient Ibaryath. No way around it. So y'all, the links are there for those books. Excuse me. Also, you'll find free links. By the way, when you buy my books, buy them on zionlawschool.org. Don't buy them on Amazon or any of those online retailers, okay? The reason why I'm asking not to do that is because the percentage of the money that they take makes it not worth selling your books on those platforms, all right? The percentage of the money that they take, and then the fees, annual fees, and all of these things that I have to pay just to have my books in stock there for those that, well, without getting into the detail, it's just not worth it. So if you want to buy my books, buy them on my website. All right, it costs me less. Also, there are links to the Devil's Pulpit, which is the foremost authority on astrotheology. All right, it is the absolute best book on astrotheology. All right. So the link to that is in the description area, and also the Ruin of Nations, and there's a book inside of that called Natural Law. So with these three resources, you can really learn a lot, all right? But if you want to know the science, if you want to know the inner house material, information, if you want to break free from religion, not just emotionally and physically, but break free from the fear of these deities, you must learn Ancient Ibaryath, learn astrotheology. It will help you a great deal, all right? So make sure y'all support my project to write the Book of the Law in Ancient Ibaryath in modern English. I'll make it easy for you to understand everything, give you the etymology, parts of speech, all of the information you need to know in order to study, in order to know that what you are reading is actually the fact and not a doctrine, okay? So you don't have to trust me the way you right now. You have to trust your Bible translators. In fact, your Bible translators, whether you realize it or not, your Bible translators are your spiritual leaders. You can extend that and even say that they are amongst your gods. Sorry, y'all, the pollution outside irritates my throat. So bear with me. Yes, they're amongst your gods. All right. Why? Because you're totally dependent on them to tell you about the deity whom you serve, upon whom your salvation rests. So if that Bible translator lies to you or gets it wrong, you're screwed. Furthermore, you need to have absolute faith in your Bible translator. So who else do you have absolute faith in? You're supposed to have absolute faith in your deity. But yet you have absolute faith in your Bible translator. Get the point? So let's get into our lesson. I want to remove you from that trick bag by providing you with the book of the law, with the etymology, parts of speech, with the natural law principles, the astrotheology, all of the constitutional law as it relates to nature and natural phenomena, and of course, the Hermetic laws, which undergird or underpin the entire physical universe, including consciousness. All right, y'all, including consciousness. The Hermetic laws are also govern consciousness. Okay, so all of that will be there. And that's not available in any other translation of the Bible at all. All right, so y'all make sure y'all support it. My PayPal is paypal.me/Zion Law School. Okay, so let's go to page 22. We're on Sagittarius. Again, Sagittarius begins at chapter 11 of Mark, verse 1, and it ends in chapter 26. Big Stank writes, howdy. Islam, Shalawama. Okay, y'all. Now, so chapter 11, verse 1 through 26 is the Scorpio section of Mark, according to the author, Bill Darlison. Bill Darlison. So now we completed JC as a centaur. We completed the religious quest. And y'all remember the polarity thing that we found that the author mentioned. He talked about faith. Faith would be faith and pomp. Faith and pomp. Okay? So based upon that polarity item, let's just call it a polarity item. It's the same thing, but different degree, but it differs only by degree, right? You can put either one on the negative or the positive. Is pomp on the negative and faith on the positive pole? You decide, however you want to do it. That's your decision. You have to work those things out on your own. This is hibiscus. This is hibiscus tea with cinnamon and ascend. You know, the star. That's what this is. Fresh. Okay. So from that one thing, it has the same nature. Therefore, you would do what? You would apply the other Hermetic laws that are associated with it. So quiz time. What is the technique to seemingly arrest or stop the impact or delay the impact of any of the Hermetic laws? What's the name of that technique? Question number 2. Which Hermetic law is used to polarize anywhere along the line? For example, you can polarize in honor, you can polarize in dishonor, or you can polarize anywhere in between those. Which Hermetic law is used to do that? Number 3. Which Hermetic law can be used to polarize? Now, this is a nuance of, this may sound like the question I just asked you, but it's different. Which Hermetic law is used? I don't want to confuse you. Let me repeat. Let me figure out how to say this without making it too easy, but without confusing you. Excuse me. Which Hermetic law can you use to polarize someone else anywhere along the line that you want to? Which Hermetic law can be used to polarize you or an entire population of people anywhere along the line that you want to polarize them? Okay? Number 4. What is the term for movement up or down the line? That thing that has the same polarities, same nature. What do you call the movement up and down that line? What is that called? What is that called? Next question. Give me 1 second. Masters polarize where? Masters polarize where? To avoid the law of rhythm swinging in the direction that they don't want to participate in. Where do the masters polarize? And where should you polarize until you become a master? Next question. The law of rhythm is working on the conscious or the subconscious mind. Let me state it a different way. The law of rhythm works on the masculine energy or the feminine energy. Okay, that's enough for the quiz. You can write your answers in the comments section. Go back and watch the video and number the questions so I'll know, and I'll look at your answers and I'll give you the right answers. If you contact me by WhatsApp, I'll give you the right answers. Okay? If I write the right answers in the comments, then people won't. It'll ruin the test. People won't try to answer the questions. Okay, so Sagittarius. The main incidents that cause the author to think that this is Sagittarius section of Mark are Jesus as a cantor, teaching on faith, and cleansing the temple. We already covered Jesus as a cantor. Zodiacal keywords, religious quest, we covered that. Foreigners, I don't remember if we covered that, but we'll see. Recklessness, I think we may have covered recklessness and philosophy, and associated with hips and thighs. So we covered associated with hips and thighs. We covered that. So let's get into it. We're going to start on page 173. Page 173. Okay. Oh boy. So, let's talk about Chiron. Remember Chiron we talked about earlier in the chapter? Let me go back a few pages. Let me see if I can find what page that's on. Okay, Chiron on page 168. Chiron, half man, half horse, a symbol of warfare between the spiritual and carnal aspects of the individual person. Okay, so individuals are corporations. It's a corporate term, right? It is a corporate term. In other words, it has to do with Christian canon law, admiralty, maritime law. Person is a corporate and a natural term, okay? A symbol of warfare, okay? So the centaur is a symbol of warfare between the spiritual and carnal aspects of the individual person. So let's just call that the higher self and the lower self, okay? The spiritual and carnal. Honorable behavior and dishonorable behavior. So we see the law of polarity applies. Does everybody see that? These weird creatures were almost always considered to be savage. Christ is represented as a horse. Christ sits on the horse and he rides in, representing his kingly status in the kingdom, and he's coming back on a horse, right? For what? For warfare. For warfare. Okay, so why does Christ ride in on a horse? Why does he return on a horse? These are savage beasts. Warfare. Y'all see it? The only exception is Aesculapius's teacher, Chiron. So Chiron is a cantor, half man, half horse, but Chiron is supposed to be kind and wise. And Chiron gave his life to save Prometheus, who represents the eventual triumph of the human, the Han-Uman, over the bestial. That's an oxymoron. Because why? The Han-Uman is a monster. So how does a monster triumph over another monster? Right? Half man, unless they're saying the half man, half animal triumphs over the 100% animal. In which case that would make total sense. Right? Because the half horse, half man, or the half half monkey, half man has intelligence along with power, physical power. Okay, so that's Chiron. hold on. Let me look at this other one. What separates the human from the beast is in part what Sagittarius represents. So what separates the Han Uman from the 100% animal is what Sagittarius represents. The restless pursuit of spiritual values. What the heck are spiritual values, y'all? Spiritual values have nothing to do with nature. Otherwise, they would say it. They would define what these spiritual values are. So we can make an assumption that he's talking about higher self behaviors. We give him the benefit of the doubt. But of course he's not. He's talking about whatever the Pope says are spiritual values. Now remember, during times of war, fighting to the death, courage to die would be a spiritual value. Do y'all see it? These values would change as the needs of Christianity changes. You best believe that in the time of war, or when they feel like they need to go to war, they're going to use Christianity, or they're going to change the doctrine to become literally warlike for war. And that's the same way they started. It was for war. And then once they conquered everything, all of this stuff about soldiers and fighting, it became metaphorical. Okay? Y'all make sure y'all like and share the video. Like and share the video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. We are 22 minutes into it, so if you've been here longer than 5 minutes, like and share the video. Subscribe. If you don't want to do that, you should leave. Okay? Gentlemen's agreement, leave. Don't take something from me. Don't accept what I'm giving you for free, and you don't do anything in return, especially something as simple and easy as clicking your mouse on the subscribe button or the like button, okay? If you don't want to do that, get out of here. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so these spiritual values which constantly present the seeker, that's you, with new challenges. What are challenges? New ways to suffer and new journeys. What's the journey? Well, the journey is your experience in suffering. Only a fool would agree to this. Only a fool would agree to suffer for nothing too. All right? Agree to suffer for an external deity is what I'm talking about. The external deity is supposed to help you. All right? So let's go back to our place where we were. Okay, so Chiron, page 173, everyone. Chiron was a friend to the Han Umans. A friend to the Han Umans. And so great was Chiron's wisdom that many young people were entrusted to his care. Oh. There's no relationship between wisdom and somebody being a pervert. No relationship whatsoever. So, the priest, the pastor, the reverend may appear to you to be very wise, and then you leave your son with the pastor, and he rapes your son. Or the priest, he rapes your son. Y'all know we see this in the Catholic Church and Christianity all the time. Or you trust the pastor with your consort. And then the next thing you know, they're having sexual relations. Wisdom has nothing to do with the person's morality. None whatsoever. Y'all should know that. Neither does how much someone knows about something. Knowledge and wisdom are two different things. Means nothing. Okay? So don't leave your children. Don't leave your heirs, rather, with anyone, especially a religious person, a religious leader. Common sense should tell you that right now. No, not common sense. What you see in the news should tell you, and what you see at your church should tell you, and other people's churches should tell you, don't do that. All right? Their wisdom and knowledge has nothing to do with the person's sexual attitudes. None whatsoever. But look at the mistake here. Chiron was a friend to the Han Umans, and so great was Chiron's wisdom that many young people were entrusted to his care. We already know about the Greeks. We know a lot of mentoring must have taken place, right, y'all? A lot of mentoring must have taken place. Let's continue. We know the MO of the Greeks and the Romans, right? With the pedophilia, with the Christians, the pedophilia. All right, let's continue. Indeed, Chiron thought what he himself had accomplished, and here's what he accomplished: the marriage of passion with intelligence, which produces the outstanding, heroic, undaunted, creative human being, creative Han Uman. Okay, so the hybrids do have a degree of intelligence. Nothing special here. Okay, so Chiron was able to mix with his passion intelligence. What if some of his passions are animalistic passions? Passions that he got from his chimpanzee side of the family. And he mixed intelligence with that. For example, passion for war. Passion to dominate, have supremacy over, Genesis chapter 1. Significantly, the apostles found the horse at a place where two roads meet. Two as in half man, half horse. Right? Two as in half man, half horse. Two as in Christianity, two fish, one going south, southerly, the other going northerly. Pisces is toxic, two fish, very, very toxic, right? Two as in, that's water, emotional. Animals are given to what? Emotional instincts, not reason. Try to scare an animal, see what happens to you. You think it's going to stop and think? No. It's going to get at you. Water represents emotion. Two fish, two Pisces. Right, two fish, Pisces. In the water, water emotions. Animals, impulsive emotions. Y'all see it? Gemini, on the land, two people going in opposite directions. People who they have an obligation to each other, but they're working against each other. The Christian church claims that they're your spiritual leaders. This is the writings in the Gospels and the New Testament, rather. But yet they're working against you. The Gospels denationalize you, make you into a bond man and a bond woman, put you under the jurisdiction of the Dogon, Oannes, the Raphaim, the political or the corporate nation states. And you have no access to natural law nor common law, because you are chattel. Genesis chapter 1. You are civilly dead in the eyes of the law. You are black. Race, black. Black codes. African American, Latino, Puerto Rican. All of that. Do y'all see the hypocrisy? The duality, the intentional deceit? Yeah, there's two roads. One road leading back to the Most High, which is natural law, and one road leading in the exact opposite direction into servitude, peonage. One road leading to nature, natural law, your nationality, back into the constitutional fold, treaty law, and one road leading into civil death and bondage, maritime admiralty, canon Christian law. Yeah, there's two roads. Significantly, the apostles found that the horse at a place where two roads meet. Okay. Let's continue. Listen to this. The author writes, "It is images such as this which will enable us to understand the spiritual." Again, there's no spiritual means breath. Spirit means breathing. So this sentence is nonsense. You have to make up the meaning of what you think spiritual is. You're transporting, why did they do it? I haven't said this in a while, but I'll say it again. They're doing it to activate your imagination, to transport you into the story. This is narrative transportation. To enable us to understand the spiritual meaning of JC's entry into Jerusalem. And y'all know this never happened because Jerusalem was a burning waste according to Moses, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. So none of this stuff in the New Testament could have possibly happened. Unless, of course, you say Moses is a liar. In calmly riding an unbroken, that's an unbroken horse, y'all, that don't make sense, right? How can you ride an unbroken horse and it doesn't try to throw you off? Oh, y'all gonna say, oh, because it's the son of the Most High, he has control, complete control over the horse. Okay, that's why he didn't. Okay. So he rode an unbroken horse into the holy city. JC is shown to be capable of dominating the forces of the fire element. What's the fire element? The animal passions. The animal passions. Passion is fire, right? Hot. Intense. His action symbolizes the mastery of the beast by the spiritual. The mastery of what we might call today the ego. Mastery of the ego. Or in Freudian terms, the id with its selfish cravings. So you master the ego and all your selfish desires by the powerful forces of self-knowledge and self-control. What is this telling us? Which natural law? I hope y'all see it already. Which natural law is he talking about? So ego, the id, the mastery of what we today call the ego with its selfish cravings. Where do you get cravings from? Do they come from you? Do they come from within you? Or can those cravings be from another source outside of you? From someone else's masculine energy interacting with your feminine energy. What law is this? This is the Hermetic law of gender. The I is unchanging. The I is outside of your physical body. It's non-local. It's everywhere and nowhere. The I is who you really are. That doesn't change. It's the me, the fleshly part, your moods, your desires. See, the I outside of you, that's who you be. That's I am. See, I am doesn't change. That's I exist. I exist in my state that I'm in now, the present state. Doesn't change. That's who you are. Your I, who are you? Someone asks you who you are, or ask a child who they are. Of course a child doesn't know who they are, or do they? They're going to tell you who their parents are. And when their parents were children, were babies or little, if you ask them who they are, they would say, I'm so-and-so's son or daughter. So the I, this is your nationality. This involves your nationality. Y'all see that? That doesn't change, regardless of your mood, regardless of how rich you are or how poor you are. You still your mother's son. You're still your mother's son, your father's son, period. You still have millions of ancestors that came before you. And you're the present generation of all of those ancestors. That's your I, your nationality. That comes with jurisdiction. If you're Genesis chapter 2, sprung from the soil, that means you're, by definition, a Moor. By definition. Which means you're the rightful heir of all land, resources, contracts and commerce That would include trusts, which are constitution and treaties. All energies, terrestrial and cosmic. The Mazzaroth, the Zoad, the Zodiac. You're the rightful heir. And the only way it can be taken away from you by law is for you to corrupt the blood. Or corruption of blood. What blood? The corruption of the blood of the covenant. Not animal blood. It was wine, either grape juice or wine. Same thing, fermented grape juice. Not animal blood. No animal was tortured for that. All right, y'all. So that's your I. I am. That don't change. The laws that you are obligated to follow, which are natural laws, don't change and cannot change. The only thing that can change is you. That's your physical body, which is, according to the Kabbalion, your me. The physical body is the becoming. The I is masculine mental gender energy. The physical body, the me, my likes, my dislikes, my hopes and dreams, my day-to-day moods. My physical body, my me, is always becoming. It's either becoming what I want. In other words, it's always manifesting. My feminine energy, which is the physical body. Or you can liken it to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, the conscious mind, if you want to liken it that way. The conscious mind would be your I. But you must always remember that the I exists outside of your body. Medical science has proven that. The I is the observer, the witness, the silent witness. Like you can look at yourself and say, I can't believe I just did that. Or you can observe what you're doing, can't you? That's outside of you. That doesn't change. But the becoming is changing constantly. Right? So either your feminine energy is interacting with your powerful masculine energy. You know your nationality. You know what laws. You know your jurisdiction, your law language, which is natural law, which is the Most High's commandments. And you're living them. The essence of which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The essence of those five are don't harm anyone. Do no harm. A synonym for do no harm is stay in honor at all times, at all costs. Breaking the Most High's commandments, you can denominate that differently by saying dishonorable behavior or dishonor. The interaction between men and women is commerce, intercourse, commerce. Yes, commerce, intercourse. Dishonorable or honorable. And that has been remixed or taken out of the common law, natural law, and put into maritime admiralty, Christian canon, jurisdiction. It's a remix, a poor reflection or a distorted reflection of the natural law. Y'all see that? Commerce on the high seas. Commerce amongst corporations, amongst the dead. and commerce amongst the living, the heirs, must always be honorable. Amongst the living, amongst the heirs, the Moors. Y'all got it? Clear? So if you don't know your nationality, or if you know it, but you're not living up to the principles, you're still scared of these deities, you're still throwing scriptures back and forth, have the Christian mindset, one step in, 1 foot out, you have doubts. Well, you're still under the influence of the Dogon. You are still being impacted by the powerful masculine energies of your enemies. Those who want, when I say enemies, I mean those who want you in bondage. Those who want to control your mind and your behavior. All right? This is what I'm talking about. Okay? They're directing their seed thought, as the Kabbalion puts it. They're directing their seed thought at you. That seed thought says that you should be black, a nigger, a coward, less than a man, impoverished, selfish and self-centered, homosexual, lesbian, contempt for yourself and people who look like you, and you should be useless to yourself and others. That's their thought idea. And that you should have no concept of nationality. And be indifferent rather toward yourself, and hate yourself, and hate everything about you, including your hair and your skin complexion, and that you should have an inferiority complex. That's their thought seed. That they want you to give birth to in your brain and produce the behavior of those thoughts, of that negative self-image. They want you to be a do-it-for-me kind of person instead of a can-do person. They want you in religion, needing a savior outside of yourself. That's their thought seed. And that powerful masculine energy, they direct at you so that it can interact with your feminine, creative energy. So now you're always becoming a black, a religious person. Suffering. Having a deep need to pray to an external deity because you're suffering. They created your mindset. That's their seed thought, not yours. You create these things on a daily basis, and you can turn it around at any time you want to. All you need to do is create a powerful masculine energy. Period. Period. And then use your willpower, which would involve setting goals. And then use your willpower to implement and execute your goal until you achieve it. Of course, other techniques too, like meditation, biofeedback, so on and so forth. All right? So do y'all see the Hermetic principle involved here, or the Hermetic law involved here that we're reading about? His action, this is Chiron, or the Sagittarius, or JC riding into Jerusalem on a horse. Make it clear. JC riding in Jerusalem on a horse. The Sagittarian image or motif. Chiron from Greek mythology. JC's action symbolizes the mastery of the bestial by the spirit, the mastery of the dishonorable behavior, the mastery of the the mastery of the dishonorable behavior or the impulsive, animalistic behavior by the spiritual. The spiritual would be what? The honorable behavior. Your knowledge, or in other words, your honorable conduct. Your honorable conduct. Your adherence to keeping the Most High or following the Most High's instructions, his commandments. To living according to our ancient ancestors' principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. All right? So JC's action symbolizes the action, again, riding on the horse into Jerusalem, symbolizes the mastery of the higher self over the lower self, the bestial by the spirit, the mastery of what we may call today the ego with its selfish cravings. That's bad conduct, right? That's just dishonorable conduct. So mastering the dishonorable conduct or transmuting, the transmutation of dishonorable conduct. How? What's the mechanism of the transmutation? By forces of self-knowledge. He's telling you self-knowledge. Who am I? Who am I? Well, I'm my mother's son. Who's my mother? Well, she's her mother's daughter. Well, who was her mother? That was her mother's daughter. All the way back. All the way back. Go back as far as to when we were called Moabites, Canaanites, and all the other ites. All the way back until the land allotments were given in Genesis and Jubilees. We're the rightful heirs, period. Let me say this again. JC's ride, triumphant ride into Jerusalem on a horse, symbolized his, and you are the Christ, right? Remember polarization, polarity. Christ, the devil. Higher self, lower self. The sun at the highest point in the northerly sky is called the Christ. The sun at the lowest point in its orbit in the southerly part of the sky, or space rather, oh, that's the devil. That's Satan. That's the opposer. In other words, opposite Satan or the devil is on the opposite, the opposing end of the same line. So the nature of Satan and the nature of Christ are one and the same. They vary only in degree. His actions symbolizes the mastery of the bestial by the spiritual, the mastery of what we might call today the ego with its selfish cravings. These things change from day to day. And what gives mastery over the ego and the selfish cravings? In other words, what gives mastery over the feminine energy? What can cause you to transmute negative, animalistic, egocentric, selfish, FU type of behavior and attitude? What can cause you to transmute it into honorable, behavior, following the Most High's commandments, natural law, the 5 principles. What can cause it? Well, the author tells us. Here's the cause. By. By means that here's the mechanism of the mastery. By the powerful what? Forces of self-knowledge. That's the I. That's the I in the masculine mental gender energy. Y'all see that? Powerful self-knowledge. You must know your nationality and your jurisdiction. And you must live it. You must live it. Period. No way around it. The author is telling you this if you can see the double meaning. And I'm giving you an education into the Hermetic laws that allow you to see the double meaning. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. I hope y'all are learning and benefiting from this presentation that I'm doing. This is the free astrotheology course. My desire is to give you the information and then you use it. You learn it and you use it. Don't learn it and sit there and do nothing. That in itself is a violation of natural law, a lesser law. But there is a cause and effect relationship when let's say you have gold and silver and you sit there and you do nothing with it. Y'all ever heard of a book called The Richest Man in Babylon or something like that? See, gold and silver needs to make babies, right? They need to make babies. We call it interest, or we call it profits. We call it putting your money to work for you instead of you working for your money. All right, now let's continue. The masculine energy that will transmute any and all dishonorable behavior. Masculine mental gender energy is the mechanism, the tool, if you will, for you to use to transmute any dishonorable behavior. What else? Self-control, willpower. Y'all see that? Willpower. Okay, so I believe I've made the point. Jerusalem is the city of peace. Salem is the same word as shalom. That's modern Hebrew, y'all. Modern Hebrew. In Hebrew and salam in Arabic. And in order for us to enter symbolically into the holy city of peace, individually and collectively, we must attain the same level of mastery over those troublesome aspects of our animal nature that JC the Christ figure is shown exercising in this little story. How many of y'all see what he just told you? Y'all see the other meaning? Can y'all see it? What did he just tell you? If anybody sees it, put a 1 in the comment section, write it. We're not talking religion. What did he just tell you? What's the double meaning? I'm going to wait a few seconds to see if anybody if you know it, or if you have an idea, put a 1. You don't have to know exactly what it is, but if you have a sense that there is a double meaning, put it in the comment section. Jerusalem is the city of peace. Salem is the same word as shalom in modern Hebrew, and salam in Arabic. Note, and in order for us, in order means a requirement, a prerequisite. For us to enter symbolically into the holy city of peace, symbolically of what? The holy city of peace? Well, what's the holy city of peace? Concretely, what is the holy city of peace? Concretely, not symbolically. In other words, what does the holy city of peace represent? It represents the promised land, the physical land, the promised land that we can only get back into by following the Most High's commandments, by living according to the principles of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your ancient mothers and fathers, your ancient foremothers and forefathers, right? So that it may go well with you in the land which the Most High, your power, is giving you. That's already talking about trusts and estate. The Most High is the grantor of the trust. Your land is the estate that you got kicked out of. And the only way back is to return to the Most High by following all of his commandments, which is actually all of his instructions. And the instructions come from your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12 again. Who do you think is going to write the commandments or the laws or the instructions on paper? Who do you think is going to speak it to the heirs? Yeah, that's why you need to follow, that's why you need to honor your ancient foremothers and forefathers, because they're going to tell you what the deal is, what the instructions are, what the terms of the contract are. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 68. Ain't no never mind about it. The only way back into, quote unquote, the blessings, stated another way, the only way out of the curses is to return to the Most High. Sincerely. Not sincerely as in selfless. And you know you want to be like a sincerely, like you may understand in Christianity. Like you don't want nothing or anything for yourself. Absolutely not. The blessings would lose their power. No, you're doing it because you want all of the material wealth that's been promised to you. You want to live in harmony with nature. You want to live a long, healthy, abundant lifestyle. That's good. That should be your motive. That is sincerity. Because you know your place, you know your status. You're the rightful heir and you want to walk in that. You don't want to walk as a bondman and bondwoman anymore. How can you? How can you accept all of that material wealth promised in Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14? How can you be a leader in industry, banking, finance, everything, all areas of human activity? How can you be a leader in that and you have a poor self-image? It's impossible. You wind up using your newly acquired wealth and OD, overdose on something, or expire from alcohol toxicity, or your other vices. No. You need a positive self-image that exactly vibrates with who you are, the I am. You need to be on equal vibration with your I am. That's your self-image. And in order for us to enter symbolically into the holy city of peace, that's the promised land. One of the blessings, one of the many blessings is what? Peace. Shalom. Individually, that's you transmuting yourself right now from dishonor, or you might even be despicable. Transmuting your behavior from dishonor into honor. Out of religion, free from the mental bondage and fear of the deities of religion, and back into nature. We don't fear anything. Your focus is living according to the Most High's commandments, period. That's it. Okay? And then that, according to natural law, gets you back into your proper status as an heir. Now you can use that information to get your stuff back. Not physically go into the promised land. We have to do that as a nation. But individually, you can use your status as one of the people. In the preamble of the Constitution, diversity of citizenship, to invoke the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Okay? And your status as a Moorish American. Right? You can get your stuff back. Now, I don't teach how to do the documents here, but I'm teaching y'all the principles that are in these documents, so that when you prepare your own documents, if you decide to do so, then you will have already learned those principles. It'll be easy for you, and you won't punk out when you get challenged. You won't get scared or give up. Why? Because you have that indomitable self-knowledge and willpower. All right? And you know that you are, quote unquote, God. You're the creative master of your universe. And you know that you are the heir, the sovereign, and they are the servant, the slave. You know that. And they'll know it just by listening to you speak your jurisdiction. So this is talking about the promised land, the physical promised land, and the blessings at the individual level, where you are the creditor, the sovereign, and they become the debtor again. That's what he's saying between the lines, using the Hermetic principles and using the contract or the Mosaic covenant, the laws and the terms of the contract. Y'all see it? right here, plain as day. We must attain the same level of mastery over those troublesome aspects of our animalistic nature. In other words, what he's saying is that you have to build your masculine energy. You have to find out who you are, declare your nationality, live the principles, do them. Y'all see that? You must correct your character. You must return to the fold of government, the constitutional fold. Y'all see what he's saying? That's all he's saying. And JC is shown excerpt. Let me repeat that. We must attain the same level of mastery over those troublesome aspects of our animal behavior, over our dishonorable character. You must transmute them to honor, using the Hermetic principles that we talked about. Okay? All right? Mastery over those troublesome aspects of our animal nature that JC is shown exercising in this little story. So in other words, that story talks about JC going from a dishonorable person or man to an honorable man. That's it. That's a summary of it. I'm on page 174. And it is the object of all spiritual practice. In whatever tradition it comes down to us. This is saying that no matter what religion you're in, the object is to go from dishonorable behavior, or even despicable, which is worse than dishonor, despicable behavior to honorable behavior. Okay, that's the common objective of all religions, according to this author, to attain this level of control over the wilder aspects of our nature. All right, y'all? Y'all see it? In other words, return to the Most High and follow the Most High's commandments. Live the principles that our ancient ancestors lived. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It's 5. It's 5. Do no harm. All of these are equivalent statements. Everybody see that? Here is where understanding the law of vibration, the law of polarity, cause and effect, mental gender will help you tremendously. Okay, I get all of this stuff from the Kabbalion by the 3 initiates. Oh, the law of rhythm. Also the law of rhythm. Okay, so y'all go back. Y'all can learn it from the Kabbalion by the 3 initiates. Okay? Now you know, when you talk about the law of rhythm, if you are in a passion, that may not be a good thing for you. You should be ruled by your reason. Passion is something you should turn on and turn off at will. Passion occurs subconsciously. Most people may not know why. All of a sudden, boom, they have a passion, an intense desire to do something. I'm not talking about a passion for your work, not those kinds of passions. I'm talking about a passion to do something that may harm you in the long run. These things are desires that are occurring at the subconscious level. You may not even know or be aware, rather, of what's happening to you, but biofeedback can help you become aware. and help you overcome some seemingly, to help you overcome some behaviors and habits that you think that you cannot overcome right now. It's only because you're not aware of what signs and signals your body is giving you that come before you do that negative behavior, all right? Biofeedback is excellent to help you to become aware of those things and to stop that pattern, break that pattern before it produces the negative behavior, like drug use, right? Like drug use, okay? Like using a drug. But it can be anything, okay? So these passions are coming from where? The subconscious part or the unconscious part of the mind. And you should know that that's controlled by, or likened to rather, feminine energy. Why? Because feminine energy is creative. Feminine energy is creative, but it needs the collaborative masculine energy, which is telling the feminine energy what to create. So if someone's directing their masculine energy at you, it's like a cuckoo. Is it called a cuckoo? In the Kabbalion, they use this example. They call it a thought idea. And they say that a cuckoo bird lays its eggs, I think, in a sparrow's nest. Okay? The sparrow's eggs die. The cuckoo's eggs live. And nobody knows that it's the cuckoo's eggs. In other words, you think these thoughts are your thoughts. But no. It's really the thought eggs or the thought seeds of someone external to you. Why are they able to do it to you? Because you have a weak masculine energy. You have a weak I. You have a weak I. You have a weak I am, which exists outside of you. This explains why they are always changing who we are. You're African, you're black, you're Negro, you're colored, African American. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Now the new thing is what? Foundational Black Americans. This explains that. They want you to always have a weak I or weak I am. That's why whenever you start talking about Moors, everybody gets all crazy and defensive. Or whenever you talk about escaping religion, returning to nature, people get crazy, defensive, start accusing you. Well, that's why. Because once you realize that they're using masculine energy, mental masculine energy as a weapon against you, well, now you can defend yourself. All you need to do is find out your nationality and your jurisdiction and start living it. That means you're doing it. Not selling documents and packages. Not trying to make money teaching other people. No, you're using it. Now, there's nothing wrong with teaching other people, but that should not be your goal. Right? You have to learn these principles, live it, walk it. Let people learn from your example. And when they see it's working for you, then they're going to want to do it anyway. All right. Let me see, where is we? I wonder if I offend people when I say that sometimes. Sometimes people get the wrong impression of me. They think that somehow I grew up with this easy life and everything was easy for me. But it's the exact opposite. It's the extreme opposite. Okay? Don't let this smooth taste fool you. All right. So So we still have, we still need to do with teaching on faith. Or is it cleansing the temple? Hold on, let me see. I think we already covered those things. All right, okay, so we're on page 74. I'm going to scan the next subheading, which is the cursing of the fig tree and the cleansing of the temple. Okay, so here we are. All right, so here's the cleansing of the temple. All right, so we've already covered teaching on faith. So here's the cleansing of the temple. Our zodiacal keywords that we need to keep in mind as we go through this are religious quest, foreigners, recklessness, philosophy, and associated with the hips. Now, you know, we can see these zodiacal keywords in more than one place, all right, having to do with more than one event. We just have to look for it. Okay. All right, so here we go, page 174. Let me scan through this real quick. Okay, so JC curses the fig tree in Mark chapter 11, verse 13. 1 plus 1 is 3, plus 3 is 6. So there's our number again, the first perfect number. There's some significance in that. Let me go ahead and read the verse then. All right, page 174. After visiting, this is not the verse, I'm just going to read the text before that. After visiting the temple, JC leaves the city and spends the night in Bethany. He returns in the morning and, being hungry, looks for some fruit on a leafy fig tree. Finding none, JC curses the tree with the words, quote unquote, "Let no one eat fruit from you ever again." All right. I remember when I was first started reading about the Bible, I think I was 16 or 7, maybe 17 years old. I don't remember exactly. This always perplexed me because I thought, wow, why would he do that? What did the tree do to him other than it didn't have, you know, the tree couldn't help it. Why did he take out, why was he angry? And then why would he curse the tree? Right? I always thought, something's wrong with his character. I thought that, but I didn't know what to think, and I trusted the organization I was studying with, all right, which was a huge mistake. I should have went with my first mind. I should have trusted myself. This seems almost a spiteful, pointless act. Well, not almost, it does seem spiteful and pointless, particularly so when we consider that figs were not in season. Verse 13. So figs were not in season. So why would he do that? Well, maybe because that's the cantor. But let's see how they mix this. Maybe that's the cantor. The animalistic meanness. Later in the text, however, we learn the real significance of JC's action. There's a footnote here which reads, as with the story of Jairus' daughter and the woman with the flow of blood in the Gemini section, this story of the fig tree is told in 2 parts. Okay, so when we see 2, we need to think Gemini and Pisces, right, y'all? Also the covenant of labor and the covenant of grace. Appropriate for the bicorporal Sagittarius. All right. So let's continue. Hyperbole, of course, but a saying of great importance because it illustrates the power of the Han Uman, the power of the human mind. Now, I'm not thinking the mind of man. I'm thinking Han Uman, human. Mind to achieve even seemingly impossible goals. When we pray, we must believe that we already have what we are praying for and it will be ours. This is much more than positive thinking. It is what Dane Rudyer on page 77 calls, quote unquote, creative visualization. Creative visualization. And it is one aim of the Sagittarian phase of the spiritual life. So the Sagittarian phase of the spiritual life, according to the author, is to believe that you're going to get whatever it is that you want. Y'all hear that? To believe or to know that you're going to get whatever it is that you want. All right, so this is the Sagittarian phase of physical life. You must have no doubt and you must have a clear image of yourself having possession or doing, being, not becoming, but being whatever it is that you want. In other words, you see it having been already accomplished. When we pray, we must believe that we already have it. It's already been done. If you practice the Silva method, this means that on the screen, on the external screen, that you visualize and project what you want, who you want to be onto that screen, not underneath your eyelids, but outside of your eyelids. You project it out into the universe, a movie screen. And that image should be you having completed or received or being whatever it is that you want. All right, when you do that meditation, these are equivalents. Okay? So that's creative visualization. So let's see where is he going with this. It is the object, its object, creative visualization's object, is not to attract material success to our life. Its application is principally to the spiritual life, operating as a kind of spiritual alchemy by which the vague outlines of our aspirations are transformed by prayer, meditation, and spiritual exercise into solid reality. The problem I have with this is that he doesn't say what this spiritual life is. What I know from what I've read, according to this author and according to Christianity, your spiritual life is suffering. Picking up your torture stake and suffering. And not committing adultery. Not committing fornication. Not doing all of these things. So here, what I see is a remix, because I totally disagree with what he said. You should, according to the Mosaic contract, you should want the material wealth, the land, the gold, the silver, the prestige, the nobility. It's your birthright. You should want it. It's yours by birthright. So when you do your creative visualization, you should see yourself in honor, enjoying excellent health, peace, shalom, and extreme material wealth. That should be your image. That should be what you pray for, if you pray. That should be the image of you on the screen of your mind. Y'all hear me? Oh, I bet this is making some of y'all Christians go crazy. That's what you should be focused on. That's what your creative visualization should be about. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, and nothing else. Of course, if you have an illness, you can use these same techniques to go from illness to perfect health through transmutation and all of the Hermetic principles that we talked about. Everything that we're talking about right now can take you from your present illness through transmutation to excellent health. Let those who have ears hear. And those who have intelligence, let them do practice. This is much more than positive thinking. It is creative visualization. Its aim is to take you into the blessings, to make you harmonic with the Most High's laws, with nature, harmonic with nature. It is not for suffering. Make it clear. Don't use this for suffering. Forget these Christian goals. That's BS. That's all suffering. And finding a way to be happy in suffering. Listen to this nonsense. Its objective is not to attract material success. That's the blessings. Material success, that's part of the blessings, right? Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14. Read it yourself. Its objective is not to attract the blessings, which are material success to our life. Its application or its object, this is what he's saying, its object is principally to the spiritual life. That's suffering. Operating as a kind of spiritual alchemy. What is a spiritual alchemy? You go from the point of, I don't like this suffering. This suffering ain't cool, it ain't for me. To go from that mindset to, well, Christ said I need to pick up my torture stake. Christ said I need to suffer to be a good disciple. I want to go to heaven. I want to get into the kingdom. So I need to adjust my mindset so that I could learn how to live with this suffering and be happy. In other words, I need to know how to willingly bow down and accept being a slave. Accept being unhappy. Let me rephrase that, not unhappy. Accept suffering as something I need to do for life. Meaning, if I ain't got no money, I'm going to give the church some more money. I must sow into them more, even though I'm going to suffer, in hopes of the deity giving me more in return as a reward for my faith. Y'all see the twisted psychology? Y'all see that? See how they playing these mental games on you, robbing you of your birthright through religion, making you the source of your bondage through consent, right? And law is contracts. You have a right to contract. Nobody can interfere with that right to contract. That's a natural law, and that's also in the Constitution. All right? So if you consent, you contract, well, that's what it is. You need to perform the contract. Y'all see it? This is very insidious stuff. Spiritual alchemy. Unbelievable. Sick. All right, y'all. Now, just what this has to do with the fig tree, the author didn't make clear unless I missed it. Let me go back up and read. Later in the text, however, we learned that the real significance of JC's action. The next day, they find the fig tree, quote unquote, withered from the roots. So he killed it. That's in verse 20. Wow. He killed it. Fig tree didn't have what he wanted. It was out of season. Fig tree couldn't have fruit, so he killed it. Later in the text, however, we learn the real significance of JC's action. The next day, they find the fig tree withered from the roots. That's verse 20. And JC uses the whole incident to give a lesson in faith. So here's our zodiacal keyword, faith, from page 20, if I remember correctly. But this is not the first time we've dealt with faith in the Sagittarian section. No, faith is not here. Religious quest, foreigners, recklessness, philosophy associated with the hips. Okay, so faith was not one of the zodiacal keywords. So scratch that. All right? Whoever has faith in capital G-O-D, that's Zeus, that's Dios, that's Jupiter, that's the Tetragrammaton, right? In terms of sun deities, it's the Tetragrammaton, but it is not capital G-O-D. Remember, capital G-O-D is an English remix. In Ancient Ibaryath, there's no capital letters. All right? So when I talk about these things, I'm talking about the etymology of capital G-O-D. Dios, Dias, Zeus, Odin, Woden, the modern day spelling of the deity from the Germanic deity from the, I believe it was the Middle Ages, is Odin, changed to Woden, and today it is spelled Odin, Woden is spelled G-O-D, all right? But in Latin, G-O-D is Dios, Dias. This is Zeus, okay? Whoever has faith in Zeus or Odin, believing with his whole heart, can even move a mountain into the sea, verse 23. Hyperbole, of course, but a saying of great importance because it illustrates the power of the human mind, the Han-Uman mind, which is a lesser intelligence than the mind of man, to achieve even seemingly impossible goals. Wow. So JC killed the tree to give a lesson in faith. Me personally, I don't buy that. I don't buy it. Okay? I don't buy it. The next day, they find the tree withered from the roots, and JC uses the whole incidents to give a lesson in faith. JC says, whoever has faith in capital G-O-D, believing with his whole heart, can even move a mountain into the sea. That's verse 23. It appears to me that what JC may have been saying is that if you have faith in Zeus, you can wither a tree too, if it doesn't have what you want from it. Are trees representative of men in some scriptures? That's correct, right? If that's the case, y'all think about this. If trees are representative of men, and this fig tree, this man, or a man, doesn't have fruit, the man doesn't produce fruit, kill him, because he's not bearing fruit. Wither him to the root. The next day, they find the fig tree withered from the root. Whoever has faith in capital G-O-D, believing with his whole heart, can wither a tree also from the root. Whoever has faith in capital G-O-D, in Zeus, believing with his whole heart, in other words, he sees what he wants being already completed. No doubt about it, it's completed. You see the tree who doesn't have fruit, and you wanted some fruit from it. You see the man who doesn't have, let's say, money, and you wanted money from him, or whatever the fruit is. Wither him. See him as already being withered. See him as already being expired. See him already as being not a man in the state that he should be. Maybe he's withered into being a bondman or bondwoman. I'm just following this logically, because we're dealing with metaphors. How can you do it? Use your masculine mental energy. You don't have to physically expire him, right? You can make him civilly dead. He's withered. Useless. This is vindictiveness. Whoever has faith in capital G-O-D, believing with his whole heart, can even move a mountain into the sea. Yeah, you can wither a man, you can wither a tree, you can even move a mountain into the sea. Don't be impressed by what I did. You can wither a man too. Or you can move a mountain into the sea. You can do anything that seems impossible through the power of your mind. Why? All is mind. That's the first Hermetic law. All is mind. The universe is mental. Y'all see this? How it all works out? So here's the remix, the Christian remix. Hyperbole, of course, but a saying of great importance because it illustrates the power of the human mind to achieve even seemingly impossible goals. All right? Y'all make of that whatever you want. Just looking at different meanings it can have. Okay? Things that you may not have considered in the past. However, the lessons of the fig tree are not exclusively concerned with the spiritual life. The text implies human beings, Han Uman, can effect changes in the physical world. See that? All right. See that? Now, think about this, y'all. So the mind can affect changes in the physical world. Why did JC choose to kill the tree? Why didn't he do something that was positive? Make the tree blossom fruit, even though it's out of season. Why didn't he do something wonderful and amazing? Positive. For the tree to make his point. What's his point? If you have faith, if you have faith in Zeus, faith in the deity, faith in the quote unquote Father, believing in your whole heart, you can move a mountain into the sea. Why didn't he do something positive, helpful to the people? Figs are out of season. Wow, you can go to the tree now and you can get some fresh figs, and it's not even fig season. Oh, the people or some people would really enjoy that. Why did he do something negative? Not just negative, but take the life of the tree to prove a point about his deity. See, why does it have to be negative? Why does it have to be death? Why does it have to be war? He could have proved the point more powerfully by making the tree bear fruit. Do you agree or do you disagree? That's loving. That's loving. But to kill the tree just to make a point, and the point is not optimally made. He could have optimally made the point, again, by making the tree bear fruit. Now everybody wake up in the morning, wow, we got some fresh figs. How did this happen? It's not even fig season. And JC could have said, well, if you believe in capital God with your whole heart, you can even move a mountain into the sea. Now that's powerful. That's in harmony with nature. That's in harmony with life. But what did JC do? He did what was dark. What he did was dark. He killed the tree for no reason other than it didn't have any fruit, and it's not even in season to have fruit. Why? Because Christianity is darkness. Christianity is the world of the dead, right? Maritime Admiralty law. Civiliter Mortuus. Death. Death is the opposite of life. Contracts are not alive. Corporations, let me repeat that. I meant corporations are not alive. They don't have life. Y'all see what I'm trying to tell y'all? So in this sense, Christ is behaving like a devil. Christ is the light. So why would you need to kill something to make a point? The light, intelligence, peace, goodness will say do something that's positive, that's a miracle. If you want to do a miracle, do a positive miracle that's going to add to life, not take it away. The devil is in dense darkness. Evil occurs in the darkness. Evil is cold. Take the D off of darkness, put it in front of evil, prefix it to evil, you get devil. Right? The devil is at the opposite end of the same line of Christ. That means the devil and the Christ, that means higher self and lower self, that means honorable behavior and dishonorable behavior, that means light and darkness, that means hot and cold, good and evil. These are the same nature. So Christ behaved like a Satan, like an opposer of Christ, opposer as in opposite end of the line, by killing the tree. Y'all see it? By killing the tree. I would be more impressed if he would have just made the tree have these amazing fruit, amazing figs. Could have made the same point more powerfully and it would have been consistent with life. But what he chose to do was to kill the tree, which is consistent with death, darkness, the devil, and Satan. The opposer of light. It's dishonorable to kill for no reason. Y'all know that. Don't make excuses to kill something for no reason. What do we know in nature? If you're going to kill something, it should be because you need it for your survival. Picking off the fruit, ripe fruit, doesn't kill a tree. It helps a tree, actually. Everybody's benefiting from that. Y'all see it? Let's continue. The text implies that human beings can effect changes in the physical world. That persistent prayer involving mind, willpower again, that's your I, your masculine energy, your I am. Okay? Your willpower is your I am that you direct to your feminine energy to collaborate with it, to manifest what you want. Okay? Through your willpower, self-control. And faith can achieve. In Tennyson's words, quote unquote, more than this world dreams of. Such thinking is anathema to the materialistic philosophies of the contemporary world. In other words, they're talking about the contemporary world, but y'all know the blessings, Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, is all material, all tangible blessings, wealth and health and nobility, okay? Extreme wealth, extreme health, and extreme nobility. That's what we're promised if we follow the Most High's commandments, which are natural law. All right? Stated in another way, we live the principles of our ancient foremothers and forefathers: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Okay? For Gnostics, however, consciousness is primary, and the material universe is a quote-unquote crystallization of mind. All is mind, right? Mentalism. All is mind. All the 7 principles come from one principle, which is mind. The crystallization of mind, this would be what? Manifesting. Everything that the product of creative visualization, okay? The last in a long line of increasingly dense emanations from the divine. Well, you're the divine. These emanations coming from the divine, that's your mind. Psalms 82:6. In such a system of thought, matter can be made to respond to the dictates of mind. How? Remember alchemy. That's rhythm, transmutation. Okay, the law of rhythm, the technique of transmutation. You should be thinking about the quiz questions I asked you earlier. This is the basis of the magical worldview, right? It's not magic. You call him a magi or a magician. You call it magic, but it's only magic because you don't understand nature and natural law. Okay? Which can accommodate the gardener's green fingers, the shaman's rain dance, and the healing power with relative ease. In cursing the fig tree, JC masters those things symbolized by the earth, and so has now demonstrated control over all four elements: fire, air, water, land. Okay, so basically what the author is saying is that what JC did is similar to what a shaman does, or what a gardener does, or what a magician does. What JC did was use his mind power to take the life away from a tree. He used the Hermetic laws to take the life away from a tree. He could have used the Hermetic laws and the laws of nature to give the tree fruit, but he chose to kill the tree, to kill the tree. Islam to all the Moors and Shalom. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. I will see y'all on the next video. Support my work. All right. Give me a reason to keep going. All right. If y'all enjoy my work, let me know. If you're learning, and if you feel it in your heart, support my project to write the book of the law into Ancient Ibaryath and modern English with all of the law and the Hermetic principles, everything. I'm going to put it back, and all of the deception, all of those things that make you have a weak masculine energy, so that they, our oppressors, the hybrids, can hijack and overcome your feminine energy to produce the man and woman who you are right now, who you want to change, that you want to change. Okay, support the work. Support the project to write this publication, okay, to write this book. Make sure y'all subscribe to 101 Ancient Ibaryath. It's $10 a month, cancel anytime. You'll be able to do what I'm doing. And this, you can learn it. You can learn it. And if you don't understand what I'm doing right now, keep on watching the videos. Enroll or subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath class. Come to class. My Zoom class is live online every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody is invited. Y'all do that, and you can free yourself. You can actually do Psalms 82:6. You are your own salvation, but you got to pull the trigger. All right? You got to pull the trigger. Shalom and Islam to all the Moors.